Welcome to Money Making Conversation Masterclass. I'm your host, Rushion McDonald. As you know, I recognize that we all have different definitions of success. For you, it may be the size of your paycheck. Mine is inspiring people to develop a plan to reach their dreams. It's time for you, that's right, you, to stop reading other people's success stories and start writing your own. You can only exceed expectations by believing in yourself. I'm going to repeat that again. You can only exceed expectations by believing in yourself. People always talk about purpose or gifts. If you have a gift, lead with your gifts. And now, know this. Don't let your friends, family, or coworkers stop you from planning or living your dreams. On this show, you know, I interview celebrities, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and industry decision makers. And always listen to what you have to say. My guest is Tamela Mann. She is a favorite on my show, and I always am happy to have her back. She's a Grammy Award-winning gospel singer and is announcing the release of The Overcomer, Deluxe edition. It will be available on streaming platforms July 22nd. Single says Billboard Gospel Airplay chart track that we're going to talk about at the top of the show. He Did It For Me. Tamela is a wife, mother, actress, and most importantly, a businesswoman with an apparel line. We're going to talk about all these things. She is the number one guest on my Money Making Conversation platform. So I'm always happy to have her back. Please welcome to the show, Tamela Mann. How you doing, Miss Mann?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Well, you know, always, first of all, thank you for taking the time on your busy schedule. Anything you want to share before we get into the interview? Because you always got something new. You always do breaking news on my show. You know, anything breaking news?
I do have some. First of all, let me thank you. Thank you guys for having me. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be able to share and to be able to spread the word and to encourage other people that they can do it too. And then like, he did it for me, but he did it for you too. And he can do it for you. And I'm just really excited. You know, the clothing line, I'm releasing a new shapewear.
Okay, let's talk about that before we get into the song then. We'll talk about the clothing wear.
You said what I have new, so I was giving it to you.
So because we going into summer, you know, I was out there shopping for some little separates, you know, and so I realized that that's one of the most purchased. You know, you can get suits, you can get dresses, but separates and casual apparel is the number one sellers out there. Fill us in on the details, Tamela.
Well, the details on that is actually, shapewear is actually one of the number one sellers, period, on the platform out there for us women, right? Because everybody's always wanting to be nicely shaped up and you know, and just look nice. It makes you look nice in your clothes. Right. So our shapewear is our prime thing that we have for this summer that we're releasing this coming week. So I'm just encouraging the ladies. Sizes from hey, you know, we go from 12 to 32. Yes, ma'am. But we have so you just go to tamelamann.com, check it out, check out the screen to make sure for your size, right, and go from there. But I'm just excited about it because everybody been asking me, so I'm getting it out there. So y'all do what y'all do. Come on now, let's do this.
Well, you know, Tom, just watching you grow. You know, just watching you grow as a person, as a businesswoman. You know, and a spokesperson. You know. So how is that? You know, when people come to you now, like you know, because I know there's a little shyness when you're talking about your shapewear, but it's part of the crown that you wear now. You know, how are you? If you give people advice about expectations and also living up to the expectation, how do you handle that?
You know, it can sometimes feel a little heavy. Like you can feel the heaviness of people like watching you and things like that. But the only thing I can do, I can be the best me that I can be. I can just share the knowledge that I have. And when it comes to health and wellness, you know, to me, it's been a struggle with that part. And I just let people in that, you know, I'm working on it, working with it. And I'm just, whatever somebody can give me to encourage me, like I'm trying to encourage you with your gear, which I call it gear instead of shapewear. But or people say girdles. But I just think it's important that we look nice. Just because we think don't mean that we have to just look any kind of way, right, and just have it just all thrown out there, right, where we can not be neatly dressed. And that's what shapewear does for you. And I just like to be able to share especially with my thick ladies, that we have stuff that can look nice on us.
Right.
That's what I really, gravitated, that I wanted good quality clothing
right.
for us, Rashad, because sometimes, you get fabrics and you hold it up, or even when you can see through it.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want people to be able to see through my things. Mm-hmm. It's like, or see your body before they get to you, meaning they see your right. skin coming through your clothes before. So things like that is very important to me. And that weighs heavy on me, that I still have to find things that's compatible for its pricing, because the more you want it, the better quality, of course, it costs more money.
Absolutely.
Bottom line.
Absolutely.
And I'm just trying, I'm learning this thing, like you were saying earlier, and to just be honest with people. And, we do it for other genres or other people that are not from our community.
Yes.
I just want us to learn to support one another, and we all can grow, and we all can be millionaires, billionaires, or whatever we want to be. If we support our own as Black people, guys, we don't really need nobody.
That's true.
We can do it all by ourselves, just by supporting each other.
I'm talking to Tamela Mann. She's preaching the economics of the Black community. We support each other. We don't need nobody to support us. And that's really true. Right. And that's why I created this platform, Money Making Conversation Masterclass, because I wanted to make sure that entrepreneurs in the Black community recognize you're our new stars. You just happen to be an incredibly gifted singer, incredibly gifted actors. But you also, as an entrepreneur, needs to be recognized that female entrepreneurs are the fastest growing segment of small businesses. And so, yes. And we need to realize that, because that's a big thing to understand. And like I grew up with 6 sisters. And so when you start talking about shapewear, we start talking about, sizes that aren't petite, and you start getting above 12, probably the last 5 to 10 years, women have been able to, who felt they were full figured, can actually be comfortable being full figured. And I think I think that because, you used to go out shop, all you had was a big old t-shirt. Big old t-shirt. They had the big t-shirts for those ladies, but they didn't have the gear or the apparel that allowed them to be proud of what they're doing. Talk about that transition, because you've been part of that revolution. Nice.
That looked nice and didn't look like a tablecloth.
Right. And like I said, I can say that because I have 6 sisters. So I've dealt with their emotions. I've dealt with them, how they had to deal with that, how they had to, and then they also have to deal with their friends. And now, like I said, you've been part of that revolution or evolution. What has been the tremendous change? Is it the fact that, we have the Lizzos out there? We have that they had that commercial, I think that Dove commercial. We had all the full-figured ladies posing in their underwear, looking comfortable. What has been the significant change to make this a comfortable conversation?
You know what? I think, with being honest, since you're talking about the money of it, the economics of it, is they see that they can make money.
Thank you.
Bottom line, and by them showing us and people that look like us, I don't need to see, nothing against anybody that's small. But if you're trying to sell me something, I need to see somebody that's thick like me. Mm-hmm. I don't need to see a small person, a petite person that doesn't look like me, because that doesn't make me feel like whatever it is going to look right and fit my shape, or, the way that I'm built. So I think that's the importance of it. And they see now we're getting more eyes and more commercials because they see that they can make money from us.
Absolutely. Well, the way you've always made money is that you've been spirited by the Lord, by the word.
Right. Well, I mean, they can make money for us, for plus size people.
Oh, absolutely. No, I was just making a positive transition. I'm about to get to why I really brought you on the show. He did it for me because I want him to do it for me too.
Okay? Hey, you good at this. Look, that's why you do what you do. You are great at this.
Because there's always been a blessing in these type of relationships where I get to see people grow, and I get to see them somehow. They're in the back, and then they come into the front, and then also they're in front of everybody, and they become natural leaders, and you become a natural leader, and a natural leader in the weight loss, You know, you was a spokesperson for that. Now, let's talk about that transition because of the fact that was personal. You're doing a lot of personal endeavors as an entrepreneur now. How does that impact you and impact your family? Do you sit down with your family when you make these decisions? When you were discussing the weight loss, I know it's tied to your needs and all that stuff, but talk about that.
Well, it is kind of something that I especially sit down and talk with David about. And then I just kind of just let my kids know kind of like what I'm doing. So if someone asks them, they can kind of answer that it's a yes or a no factor. And it's important because of my family, obesity runs in my family, right. And we easy, it's like we have some small ones, but we have a way where we can be some thick ones if we don't watch it. So I'm just really trying to learn to do better, in my situation, because my mother was a full figure woman and she dealt with high blood pressure and she didn't have, and diabetes ran on my father's side. So I'm really trying to be careful. And like I say, it's an uphill journey. Like some people may have problems with drinking or drugs. Mine happened to be not even eating enough, eating wrong. Right. And it's like learning to do different things. Right. So it's important that if we share and talk about it, group therapy really is, it really can help a lot of us because you feel like, first of all, that you're not alone. Somebody else is dealing with the same issues that I'm dealing with. I'm not just the only one making a bad choice. Right. And it kind of takes a little pressure off the mind where it don't just go heavily on the mental side, where it can put you into a depression when you can talk about it. To me, when you learn to talk about issues and we face the facts about ourselves that, okay, you got an issue here. Right. You're picking wrong, you're choosing wrong, you just keep going back the same way. And it's like, I'm believing and asking God, but it's also things that I have to grab hold to and acknowledge that, okay, Lord, I'm like this morning, I was like, Tam, girl, it's like talking to myself, like, you got to get this, you got to do this. That's how the Overcomer album came about, is working to overcome things and challenges that I'm facing. It's a day-to-day fight. It's like, I feel like, for instance, that's somebody, it's like that's when everybody want to invite you out to eat, right? Or they'll bring you something, fix you something that's not the right thing. It's like, look at the devil to me. but still, it's a process. It really is a process. And learning not to point the finger at other people, but to point the finger at yourself that you need to address, again, face facts about yourself.
The beauty of, this is the humbleness. See, that's why I love interviewing her. Her and Yolanda Adams, two of my favorite people. They're both humble, brilliant people, okay? But I'm going to tell you how brilliant she is, okay? Tamela Mann, in history, is the first gospel artist with 9 number 1 singles on Billboard's gospel airplay chart. And it started and ended recently with He Did It For Me. Now, see, when you start, see, this is the humble part of this conversation. She actually talking to me, okay? 9 now. This is Michael Jackson talk, okay? This Elvis Presley talk. You know what I'm saying? This is Beatles talk. That's why off air I told her you'll be headlining Essence one day. Because my whole thing is that you just can't keep not hearing about this greatness and not showcasing this greatness. 9 though, Tamela, 9? When does it soak in? When do you realize what you're doing to us and uplifting us? Come on now. Come on. I made you cry last time. I didn't bring you back to cry now. Come on now.
I know, but it's joyful tears though, Rashad. It's not sad. It's like happy. And I don't know. All I know is I accepted the call and I am just trying to be a willing vessel to encourage God's people, inspire, bring hope. And mine so happened to come through music. And when I got word that the song was number 1, I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. And then I got word back, and like an hour or so later, it was saying, that Billboard had put that out about it being the 9th. And because I really don't look at all that stuff, Rashad. I don't read.
That's my job. That's my job.
I don't keep up with it. But when I heard it, my eyes teared up. But my thing is to share. God has no respect to person. If he did it for me, he can do it for you. Mm-hmm. And I'm just grateful that he's done it for me. Mm-hmm. And my tears are like, it's like overwhelming.
Right.
Because it came out of frustration and hearing somebody saying, why is things coming to her? Why is her songs being number one? Or why is she getting movie deals or, selected to do TV? Why? When I went back I was talking to my daughter, Tia, and the producer, Phil, I was like, I just started crying because I was like, why would somebody say stuff like that? Because I'm trying so hard to just be out here just working and just trying to be a light, bottom line. Mm-hmm. And I just started expressing and just talking, and the producer came back with the hook to the song.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he had one verse, and then I went back and I wrote the second verse. He was like, Mama, I think, he said, this is something. And I was like, this is perfect. But he took all my words and put them into the song.
Right. And we're going to talk about
that's how it happened. And that's where, where we are with, he did it for me, man, I'm telling you. But every time I sing it though, now y'all, it makes me cry because I'm grateful. I'm so grateful.
Well,
and thankful.
You're always grateful. You're always thankful. Like I said, there's always a positive journey when I bring you on the show to talk about it. It's uplifting for my listeners and my viewers who get to see it on video because you're such a positive, shining light. But I'll be remiss if I don't talk about your number one fan. Who's always been pushing you out front,
yes.
Big D, David,
Big D. And he is. He's up working late all the time. David is my number one supporter. He always tells me, he said, I'm your number one fan. And to just see him standing on the sidelines, I try not to look at him because he's singing with me and he's like, if I don't feel good, y'all, he'll sing every song, every word. He'll be on the side like, I was pushing you, I was singing with you. That's why you was able to hit that note, because I was singing with you. But he's always making me laugh. And I tell him constantly that I appreciate him and for just loving me and working behind the scenes when people don't know. Everything that's happening is, with the Lord and him, is happening because of him and the Lord.
Right.
And the Lord first. And it's just amazing. And I can't thank him enough. I can't thank him enough for just believing in me when I didn't believe in myself.
There you go. That's what I wanted to hear. Because we talk about you all the time. Okay?
Yeah. And pushing me. Because, he gave me, he helped me stir up the gift.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did.
Because I was, like you said, the shyness and standing out in the forefront. I was like, I'm happy with just being in the background, singing behind Kirk Franklin and singing behind whoever, just being backstage. He was like, no, you world class, Tam. And people need to hear that.
Absolutely.
So it's amazing to have somebody around you that push you and that loves you.
Awesome. I'm talking to Tamela Mann. We're about to get into a new song. He Did It For Me. The deluxe version of Overcomer will be hitting streaming platforms July 22nd. But
yes!
July 22nd. Now, here's some lyrics I pulled from the song, and we kind of talked about this first one. People try to tell me I'm not worthy of my destiny. And we kind of hit on that earlier, but I'm letting people know that's in the song. People trying to tell me I'm not worthy of my destiny. A lot of people, I kind of say that in my intro. Don't let your friends, family, or coworkers stop you from planning or living your dreams. Talk about that lyric and the significance of it, because this is your lyric, just happens to be in this song.
Because, to hear that, just like we were saying just a few minutes ago, for someone to say that, why is things happening for you? Why is things coming through or you being blessed? Not looking and looking at the fact that you're putting the work in, you're putting the time in and you're putting the sacrifice in. But why? It's like, oh, well, she don't, I guess, because people come, I guess, from a just on looking that they feel like the person is that you're not. But that's why I'm so glad God is God, and they're not in control of that, because they can say what they want to say.
Yes.
Because people are going to say things, and some people are not going to believe in you. But that's when you push harder, and that's why we lean and depend on God. That because He's saying it, I can overcome it. Because He's saying it, I can do it. Because He's saying it, He's walking with me, and I have enough faith. And when you have His favor, I mean, people always say favor ain't fair, but I say favor's for me. Yes. And He chose me, so I'm saying yes to the call.
And you have to claim it. You have to claim it. And then when you claim it, there's work tied to that claim. And a lot of people, they look at me, they go, well, Sean, you're always doing so many different things, but you do it so well. I always tell them, October 9th, 1991, I prayed to God. And I said, look, if you allow me to take advantage of my talents, I promise you, I'll give you 100% in every lane that I go. I told you, that's what that date. I put it on a little yellow poster and put it on my wall when I was in an apartment, $350 a month. You know, all bills were paid. It was no bigger than 500 square feet in Hollywood. And I put that on my wall. And I said, look, and I just came out of spending 30 days in the hospital. My lung had collapsed. But I went, look, if you allow me to follow my dream, I give you 100%. And so when people look at me, oh, you're baking, Rashawn, you're doing this, you're managing this, you're doing this TV show. How can you say thank you? How you doing all this stuff? Well, God told me, He woke me up, not the alarm clock. He woke me up now. When He woke me up, He said, go do what you do. And when I go out there and do what I do, that's what this song is so important for me. He did it for me because the next lyric was God did it. He did it for me. Right there is what we're talking about right now. You know, I prayed in 1991. You know, when the favors come your way, you grab them. Okay. The people out there who are hating out there, looking out on the outside, why that's not happening to you? Because you too much worried about what I'm doing instead of trying to build the relationship of what you can do. Talk to us.
When I done prayed and asked God, and see, faith without works is dead. So when you pray it, you gotta believe it. See, the thing is when you stuck that on that wall and you said that prayer, you believe God beyond what you can see. So that's when He worked. When you have faith and hope, they work together. And when you pray and ask God, and when you believe it, that's why He said, if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, we're not preaching you guys, but we're just trying to encourage you through the Word of God that all things are possible if you believe. Right. And He only works if you believe. Absolutely. Whatever it is, if it's healing, whatever, deliverance, whatever you need to come through for you, it's only going to happen if you believe that it can happen. Right. He moves, and that's the action of it. That's how He moves, is because you believe.
Okay. One of the final lyrics that I pulled from the song the whole song is incredible, but these are lyrics that personally stood out to me. In the song, He Did It For Me. Again, July 22nd, Overcomer, the Deluxe edition will be available on all streaming platforms. The gifts He gave me are not easy to carry. The gifts He gave me are not easy to carry. Come on now.
I got chills. Because, you know, when it's like when the Lord appoints you, or when you're given this gift, because for singing, okay, because my body, I'm not Jesus, my body does get tired, my voice does get tired. Being away from my family can be it has been strenuous at times, especially when my kids were small, and even sometimes being adults, missing things, and you're working and trying to make things still happen, and they're not understanding that you got a lot on your book and on your plate that I'm still. So when you do need to come to me, I'm still working. So when you do need what you need, it's in the bank mainly, or the word of encouragement can be put there. So that's why I mean it's not easy, because it can be painful, and to hear sometimes the ridicule that we were just talking about earlier, when the naysayers are going and at work, but I'm encouraged because I know that God has me, and I know He's gonna do it because I'm believing it. And after I ask and believe, He's doing it. But That's what I mean by the gifts are not easy. If when the body gets tired and I'm pressing, and even like to this day, if I get hoarse, Rashad, I get so teary-eyed and that I feel like I'm not able to give my best, because I always want, my mother say, love the Lord with all your heart and the Lord will take you far. She said, always do things like you just said, 100. Whatever you do it to the best of your ability. Mm-hmm. Give it everything that you have. And every time that I stand before God's people, I am trying to let them have everything that I have in me. It's like I'm leaving it out there. I'm leaving on whatever stage, whatever 2 or 3 minutes I get. I got that from Shirley Season. I'm giving it my all. I'm
telling you. I'm speaking to Tamela Mann. She is a Grammy award-winning singer. Billboard recently announced she is the first gospel artist with 9 number 1 singles on Billboard's gospel airplay charts. She has an incredible deluxe version of The Overcomer. It's coming out July 22nd on all the streaming platforms. Please don't miss it. Please don't. Understand that when I bring on the show, she's motivation for me as a believer. She's motivation for the people who listen to her, because they know if she can do it, she's not telling you can't. She's sharing the blessings with information. And that's what we do on Money Making Conversation Masterclass. Again, Tamela, thank you for your time as usual. You know I'm going to be lasting. We're going to get some of the banners, put them up, because I already put it out there before and you tagged me. I was out there promoting. Susan said I was out there promoting before you even knew I was promoting, because I share love, child.
So much.
I don't hate. I gotta. If you shining, guess what? I'm gonna add more light to the shine. Okay.
And that's where your blessing comes from too. Because by you pushing somebody else, the Lord is continually to bless you and open doors for you. And I pray the Lord richly bless you. And that it bring no sorrow. I mean, that He richly bless you. I'm telling you. I believe that. I mean, when we sow, and by you sow, this is sowing into me. And we're sowing into each other with words of encouragement that we can. Because sometimes we have to do that as brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
We have to pat each other on the back. Give each other our flowers. I don't want you to come just talk over my funeral and then you never told me.
Right.
So I'm glad that you encourage me while I'm listening and I'm alive and well and I can understand what you're saying. So thank you so much for what you do, the time that you put in, the service that you put in. God bless you and bless money making, money market. I mean, just because y'all doing this thing.
I appreciate it. Again, thank you for coming on Money Making Conversation Masterclass. I'm speaking to Tamela Mann. Stay blessed and stay at the top of the world. And tell that husband who I love to death, David.
I will.
I said hi. Okay. Thank you.
I will. God bless you. Love y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.
I appreciate you. And if you want to hear or see any of my interviews on Money Making Conversation Masterclass, please go to moneymakingconversation.com. I'm Rushion McDonald. I am your host.